As the world mourns the remarkable life of Queen Elizabeth, stories and anecdotes are remembered from her long 70-year reign. One particular story which has captured attention anew is that of the terrible fire that tore through Windsor Castle in 1992, Her Majesty's infamous annus horribilis. The Windsor fire broke out while the Queen was celebrating her 45th wedding anniversary with Prince Philip. The fire started at 11:30 a.m. on November 20, 1992, and was caused by a restorer's lamp setting a curtain alight. As the fire grew in size, the flames spread to other important areas of the estate. Due to the lack of fire-stopping materials at Windsor Castle at the time, the blaze made its way to Brunswick Tower and St George's Hall. By the afternoon, the floors of Brunswick Tower had collapsed. And by 6:30 p.m. that evening, the tower was completely engulfed by the flames, reaching heights of 15 meters. Queen News: The fire at Windsor Castle happened in 1992. Image, Getty. Queen News: The Queen returned the next morning to examine the damage. Image, Getty. Queen News: An aerial shot of the devastating damage. Image, Getty. Minutes later, the roof of St George's Hall also collapsed. Flames were not totally extinguished until the early hours of the next morning. At the time, Windsor Castle had its own fire department comprised of 20 men. They were based 2 miles away, so were able to arrive in a matter of minutes when the fire broke out. In total, 225 firemen were at the scene to try and quell the fire. Fire services from London, Buckinghamshire, Surrey, and Oxfordshire, and Berkshire attended. While the fire had caused huge amounts of damage, the royals were able to save some valuable artifacts including artworks and jewellery. In fact, Prince Andrew had reportedly organised a human chain to move valuables to safety. 2 pieces were lost, however. One was a rosewood sideboard, and the other was a 1798 painting of George III by Sir William Beechey. Read more. Queen knew she wasn't going to come back from Balmoral. Queen News: The fire raged into the early hours. Image, Getty. Queen News: £36 million was spent on repairs. Image, Getty. The following day, the Queen returned to the castle to examine the extent of the damage. Pictures of her donning a hooded mackintosh were seen as she talked to firemen outside the castle. At first, the country rallied around the Queen to offer their sympathy. But this quickly became a political row after the government announced it would pay for the restoration. At the time, it was estimated that this could cost anywhere between £20 million and £40 million. In the end, the repairs produced a huge £36 million bill. However, 70% of this was raised by opening Buckingham Palace to visitors. It was also reported that the Queen used £2 million of her own money. The Queen reflected on the fire just a few days later when she gave a speech while marking her 40th year as monarch. She simply said, "1992 is not a year on which I shall look back with undiluted pleasure." In the words of one of my more sympathetic correspondents, it has turned out to be an annus horribilis. Don't miss eye-catching. Queen Maxima steps out in fabulous orange outfit. Inside: who else could unite a country this way? Queen's power praised. Analysis: King Charles will face opposite way to Queen on coins, protocols. Insight: Queen News: The said 1992 was a horrible year. Image, Getty. Queen News: Diana and Charles were clashing in 1992. Image, Getty. The Queen endured a difficult year in 1992 for other reasons too. Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson had told her their marriage was over, and the Duchess of York even revealed years later that the Queen asked them to reconsider. Ms. Ferguson said, "She asked me to reconsider, to be strong and go forward." Prince Charles and Princess Diana were struggling to mask their marital tension. On top of this, Princess Anne and Mark Philip's divorce was finalized that year as well. Just a week before the Windsor Castle fire, excerpts from a recording were published, confirming that Charles was having an affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. While 1992 had been a disastrous one for the monarch, in her speech soon after the fire, the Queen tried to put a positive spin on the scrutiny the royal family had faced that year. She said, "There can be no doubt, of course, that criticism is good for people and institutions that are part of public life. No institution, city, monarchy, whatever, should expect to be free from the scrutiny of those who give it their loyalty and support, not to mention those who don't. But we are all part of the same fabric of our national society, and that scrutiny, by one part of another, can be just as effective if it is made with a touch of gentleness, good humor and understanding."